I have tonight? It's Greg at My Weight Loss Life. Hi, Greg. Welcome.
Hi, Christy. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing great. You know, in Southern California, great weather, heading into the weekend. I ate a ribeye today.
Oh, nice.
I mean, what could be bad?
Yeah, you can't complain about that. That's the
No.
thing. I love Friday nights because it's just, you got 2 days. Usually you have 2 days off, and
Yep.
now you can kick back and relax on Friday night and just, I don't know, I guess enjoy the nice weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I always look forward to Friday. I think Friday, I like Friday even I think better than Sunday because on Sunday I'm kind of dreading Monday already. you
Yeah,
know, but Friday it's all hope.
that's right.
So, we've been on lives together before. We were just talking backstage, everybody, about the ugly Christmas sweater party we had back in December. That was a good time.
Yep.
But I haven't had you on for an interview, and I'm very excited that you signed up to do this with me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good time. I just want to say hi to the people tuning in tonight. It's great to have you here.
yeah, we have our friends here. So, hi, Brian. Nice to see you. Charlie's here. Hey, Charlie. And we got Bruce and we got Jessica chiming in to say hello. So, yeah, welcome everybody. And hi, John.
Hey, Johnny.
Two of my favorites. You are one of my favorites too. You're so awesome.
He is good. I love his videos that he puts out. They always make me laugh or smile and chuckle, and he does a nice job.
Plus, I like to see where he is in the country and
Yeah.
all that too. Didn't he come over for a meetup?
Yeah, I got to meet him here in January. He was pretty close by, and he came up, and I picked him up at the truck stop and brought him over to my house. We cooked ribeye, or let's see, yeah, it was ribeyes in 0-degree weather. So that was kind of an experience. But yeah, we had a great time and had a lot of nice conversations, and it was just good to meet people from the weight loss community here and on YouTube. And there's a lot of great friends on here that we've all made, and it's nice to actually meet people in person. And I'm looking forward to meeting more people down the road. I know this year is going to be kind of busy with me. I got 2 daughters getting married, so
Oh my
don't know if
goodness.
there'll be a whole lot of vacations or traveling, but I'm hoping that down the road I should do some meetups and go to some some of the KetoCon type stuff, and it'd be kind of fun. So
Yeah, I'm going to KetoCon, aka I guess now Hack Your Health, this year, and
nice.
so I'm very excited about that. My mom is coming with me and planning on meeting up with a lot of people in this space. So yeah, I hear you on that. I'm looking forward to meeting some more people in real life, and hopefully we can coordinate. Whenever you're available in the future. So 2 daughters getting married, what is that like? This is not a carnivore topic, but I have got to know because first of all, I have no daughters. I have 2 sons, and they don't even have girlfriends. So they're very young. So, no, they're very young. That's good. They're focused on their school and all of that. So yeah, what is that? 2 daughters getting married, huh?
Yeah, they're 25 and 23, and they both live in Omaha, Nebraska, and
Okay.
they're getting married. One's like July 13th, and the other one's October 5th. So the one on coming up in July is down in Omaha, and the one in October is here in Iowa. So in Mason City. So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. Hopefully as a dad, I'm ready to take my daughters down the aisle. And, that was, I got to go back to January of last year when I started my weight loss journey. That was one of my whys because I knew I was going to have 2 daughters probably getting married this year. And I wanted to look my best for them and be actually able to walk down the aisle. So, that was one of my whys. So, yep.
Yeah, so that's a good intro into my main thing I wanted to ask you about tonight, which is your health journey. Where were you? How did you get started? Did you jump right into carnivore? Did you go through keto first, like I did? And how are you doing now?
Yeah, I'll kind of tell you a little bit about it. I'd say back in September of 22, I was a hotel general manager, and I'd been at that job like 4 months, and I would get home at night, Christy, and I couldn't even walk. my legs hurt so bad. I had arthritis problems, my hips, my knees, my ankles, and I had to walk away from the job because the life was too short. I couldn't function. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I basically, I gave my notice and just didn't know if I'd go back to work, what I was going to do. I didn't really start any weight loss plans or anything like that. Well, I rolled into January and, my wife decided to do some fasting in just kind of in December and into January. And here she's down 15 pounds. And to be honest, she didn't need to lose any weight. So I looked at her and said, you don't need to lose any weight. I'm the one that needs to lose weight. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to do a low carb diet. And I decided on low carb because I'm like, well, I can't really exercise. I mean, I was on the couch all the time. My feet were up, couldn't move real well. And I thought, well, I'll try that, see how that goes. Well, the low carb quickly turned into keto. And I think in the first 2 months, I lost like 35 pounds. 5 months, I was like 70 pounds down. I want to say 7 months, I was 85 pounds down. And then I was 8 months, 1 week, and I'd lost 100 pounds. In that frame, the bulk of it was probably ketovore, but don't get me wrong, I did some carnivore in there too, and I like to mix it up, so I'd kind of go back and forth between the different plans just to keep my body guessing. And I think helped me lose the weight, to be honest. It just kept it going because it was guessing. I wouldn't get stuck for very long at all. So that worked out really well. So here we are today. I'm still basically 100 pounds down. I would like to lose some more. It's been a little tough because what happened is in December of this year, I actually went back to work. I work in behavioral health. I'm an employment specialist. I help people in the community that maybe have schizophrenia, some kind of severe depression, some mental illness. I help them gain employment. I go out, do some support. Basically I wear many hats in that role because it's kind of like a counselor role too. So you just kind of help people with their daily things. And sometimes I take them shopping. Otherwise, it's just sitting down talking. Maybe they're filling out applications. Maybe I do some interviewing. So I'm basically helping people now. So since I started that in December, it's been kind of a little adjustment for me because I used to be at home. It was really easy to fix meals, stay on plan. But when you're working, it's been a little adjustment for me to get back to where I want to be. I'm still basically keto. Don't get me wrong, though. I tend to not be as disciplined as I was. So I've kind of been just maintaining, let alone I've been real busy with my mom during that whole time. I was for my mom. She was given 5 months to live last May, and she's still going today. So she's done really well, but we recently we had to put her in skilled nursing. So we had to move all her stuff out of her apartment, get her settled in there. I'm happy to report though, she loves it there. She's able to go to church, do the music groups and play bingo. And that's been going really well. So, I was kind of her caregiver last year too. So, I mean, it was busy and it's been busy. So, but it's all good. So
yeah, no, that's totally understandable. So, so for a while, were you ever like strict carnivore, or would you say always more like ketovore?
I would say there's like when I was at the 85-pound mark loss, I did carnivore for 6 weeks. And that got me to the 100 pretty quick. I think I lost 19 pounds in 4 weeks.
Wow.
And most of it, I mean, there's like 12 or 13 pounds of it was in the first week of carnivore. And that's going from keto to carnivore. Just in that 1 week, I lost 13 pounds. But then it was just, a couple pounds here and a couple pounds there. My body, I think, prefers keto. But I'll say this, my ketovore, or what I call keto, is probably most people's carnivore.
Okay.
So it's just once in a while I'd have some broccoli with the meat I'd have at supper time, or I eat quite a few eggs, some cheese. But mainly, I have meat for supper. But there would be times where I'd have broccoli or cauliflower once in a while, but that's about it. Or maybe a taco salad. That would be the extent of my keto diet. Otherwise, it's mainly meat, bacon, eggs, cheese, that type of thing.
Yeah, I never thought that I would be the one to be venturing out into the more of the recipes, because when it's just for me, I'm just happy with a ribeye or a picanha.
Right.
But now that my son, he's 15, and so now that he's eating this way with me, it's like here I am, the one trying out the carnivore pizza and all of that. Like I just made a batch of the chicken nuggets. For him, and actually his brother likes them too, and so that's kind of been a fun new, I don't know, hobby
Sure.
that I've taken up, is just trying out things that are going to keep him going with this way of eating, and hopefully help somebody else who maybe has a kid that
Yeah.
doesn't just want to eat steak every day.
Yeah.
Like,
And that was the nice thing I'll say, especially with like the keto. Um, it just, we had such a variety. I didn't miss any of the foods that, I was able to eat lasagna. It's just, I used egg life noodles.
mhm.
So granted, there was a little bit of carbs in the tomatoes, but if you were careful and measured it out, it's like, well, you really weren't eating a lot of carbs. So, we kind of created a bunch of recipes and we tried a bunch of different recipes and it worked. And I wasn't missing anything. So usually at night I'd have sugar-free Jello, with some zero sugar Ready Whip. That was like
Mhm.
a 15-calorie supper with no carbs, no sugar, or not supper, but a dessert for the evening, and that worked great. So definitely.
Yeah, for me, although I have switched mostly to decaf now, I'm like, wow, I've gotten rid of almost all the caffeine. I'll have 1 cup of caffeinated coffee in the morning, and that's it. And that's crazy because I was drinking 4 or 5 cups caffeinated coffee, throughout the day. But I
Oh
found
yeah,
that I still enjoy the coffee experience. And so thanks to, Erin, she recommended a good decaf that's like water processed. Anyways, all that to say, that's what I enjoy like after dinner.
yeah.
Just with a little heavy cream in there for like that little after dinner, like, okay, closing it off now. And it's not really a dessert. It's not sweet, but I don't know. It's got that
Right.
sweetness to it, and it kind of satisfies me like that, for the night.
Oh yeah.
So I can imagine after losing 100 pounds, you're feeling pretty amazing. Have you had any other benefits, like besides weight loss, like other health benefits or mental health or things like that?
I'll say this, for the mental part of it, I haven't not noticed a single change mentally. I know a lot of people say that they have more mental clarity. I never have noticed that, I guess, but I used to be pre-diabetic. So, it's one of those things. My blood work came back. My doctor's on board with what I do, supports me fully. He did keto himself for like a year. He had to go off of it though, because he's one that had some high numbers for his cholesterol. And he said there's only one type of person that gets that. Usually they're very skinny, they're athletic, but they tend to, their number runs higher. And he goes, so he does not do that type of diet, but he did it for like a year. And, he had a lot of success and he understands it. But my blood work came back great. I improved in everything. And, yeah, so all that was improved, let alone, yeah, my muscles and joints. Definitely, I have less pain. I still have some. Even when I was on carnivore, I still had some. It wasn't completely gone, but it has improved, obviously enough so I could go back to work, which was nice, to be able to do that. And I find that was the other thing I didn't mention in the, when I lost the 85 pounds, I didn't even exercise. So just by diet alone, I was able to lose all this weight. Well, I started seeing a physical therapist, started doing a little bit of exercise. Obviously, I became stronger. That helped me. And I encourage people, if you can exercise, be sure to exercise. But if for whatever reason you're stuck to a chair at home and you cannot move, try to do some chair exercises, but you should be able to lose weight by just you're changing your way of eating. I did it. So it's kind of one of those things I think other people could too. If, there's some mobility issues, they should be able to, like I said, go on a keto, carnivore, low carb diet and lose weight. And I have some other friends that did low carb. They're type 1 diabetics, and is the husband and wife. They lost 90 pounds on a low carb diet, have great control over, excuse me, over their diabetes. Sorry.
No worries.
And it worked really good for them. So it's one of those things. There's definitely ways to change your way of eating and be successful, lose weight, and have a lot of other health benefits.
Yeah. So I wanted to go back to what you were talking about now that you're working. It sounds like for your job, you're out and about, like you're out and about with these people. My job isn't like that, I mean, it is. I mean, obviously I'm working, I'm a teacher but I'm not traveling around, but I do have to prep, and I am not a food prepper. Like, I'm not that person that wants to like prep all the food. I definitely don't do that with my dinners, but if I've got to have something. So a lot of times it's like hard boiled eggs. This week it was really funny because my mom actually came over on last Sunday because she had been on a trip to Greece and she had some souvenirs to bring us.
Nice.
And so I didn't think one picanha was going to be enough, Greg. So I made two picanhas.
Nice.
So I had quite a bit left, which kind of, that was good. But yeah, so this week it was like I cut it up into picanha bites and like bagged it up, and I ate picanha bites for lunch.
Nice.
Which were totally delicious. I might do that on purpose in the future, like make two instead of one and then have lunch for the week. I had never done that before. But anyway, what things have you tried to implement? Because I know have you tried yet, or do you have a plan for kind of reining in your, just when you're out and about and it's like tricky to stay on plan?
I think, kind of what you said, when I first started working, I was really good about it. I had, I'd bring hard boiled eggs with me. I would bring some, meat cut up in baggies, some cheese cut up. I probably have gotten away from that, and I need to get back to that. I think that's what will rein it in for me. And then just not being tempted, because I go a lot of different places. I end up in gas stations quite a bit. My wife used to call me a gas station junkie. And it's easy to be tempted when you go in there because you got all this stuff. And I think that would help me quite a bit. I think the other thing is too, is if in the morning, maybe what I used to do is only eat 2 meals a day. Lunch was my breakfast for the day, and then I'd have supper. Well, in the morning, usually I'll have a hard boiled egg, take my medication. And then at lunchtime, I'll eat, sometimes I'll come home and have eggs. Otherwise, like I said before, I was taking some meat and cheese. That would be my lunch. And then have just kind of, whether it be a pork chop for supper or a steak or chicken. I would have that for supper. And then what's nice now is in Iowa here, the weather's getting nicer, and I'm doing more and more griddling outside, which I love to do. And I did a lot of it this winter anyways, because it was pretty mild here. So that was kind of nice to do. But I don't know, it just opens up more cooking. And plus now it'll be lighter out at night too. So you have a little bit more light in the evening to do some cooking and do some other things. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think, like you said, though, I mean, just reining it in for me is going to be doing more food prep and making sure, and we did a lot of that too. During that weight loss journey, we bought a bunch of those containers and did meal prep on the weekend. And then it was easy. You could stick them in the freezer, take them out in the morning. They'd be thawed in the fridge by night, and you could throw it in the microwave and boom, you're eating in 5 minutes,
Yeah.
Probably need to do more of that again. Definitely.
I don't enjoy the meal prepping at all. But if I don't do it, it's like, because you have to do it every day, right? You have to get something for yourself every day. At least now, because my son is eating this way, because obviously I care about his success. And so I make sure to prep him something for lunch. And even though it's just quick, it's usually, like you said, some cut up cheese. He doesn't really like hard boiled eggs. So I'll do like like a sausage, like you can eat it cold kind of sausage and cut it up. For him, and maybe some pepperoni. And then I put some electrolytes in his water for him and so at least, I mean, even if I have nothing, I'm already going to do that for him. So like, it's not a big deal to do another one for myself. There's been a couple days where my lunch has looked similar, although that's not usually what I do. But yeah, if I just can't like stand the sight of another hard boiled egg, or I just cannot, like, I'm tired on a Monday morning, I'm not, into boiling up, 10 hard boiled eggs for the week or whatever. Because I'm already doing that for him, it's kind of helping me too. You know what I mean? It's just because I'm already getting out all the stuff.
Yeah, it really, that's one thing I'll say. My wife just kind of supported me on this journey and did the keto with me. And it was nice because we always did the same supper, made it pretty easy to do that. And she was definitely more of a OMAD, because she doesn't really eat a lunch or a breakfast. She'll come home and eat supper, and that's how it's worked. And she lost weight too. I think between us, we lost out like over 130 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, last year, and just in that 8-month period. So, yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, my mom can do that. I have a hard time with the OMAD. By the time
Yeah,
it's
I
time
can't.
for my meal, I'm totally white knuckling it. I'm miserable. So yeah, I stopped doing that. I have on the weekend started pushing my eating window earlier. I do try to keep at least a 16-hour. That seems to be like pretty doable on a regular basis,
Mm-hmm.
And on the weekends, like you said, try to confuse your body a little bit, like mix it up. So I do that because I don't really incorporate much in the way of any fruits or veg, but I do that by changing up like when I'm eating. So during the week, it's forced on me, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
lunchtime at school is 11:45, and I got 45 minutes to like snarf it down. And so if I don't eat then, it's not going to be until 3:30, that's way too long. Like I'm not going to make it. So
Right.
my first meal is generally 11:45. Occasionally I'll make myself a power bowl before school, like if I'm just ravenous in the morning, but usually 11:45. And then I eat like as soon as I get home, and then so I'm done eating by 4:30 or right before 5. Because if I go have a live, like Lioness Lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that, it's usually 5 o'clock, or kind of like this one right now, it's at 5 o'clock. And so I
Right.
eat something and then get online, and then I won't eat again until the next day around that time. But then on the weekends, I try to push it to earlier because I'm awake in the morning. I'm kind of a morning person. So I'll eat, and I don't have that thing that I don't know if you're like this. No one else has admitted to identifying with me on this, but I don't have that thing where it's breakfast, I want eggs. Like today for breakfast, I had a ribeye. Because my eating window was going to be earlier today, and oh my gosh, it just sounded so good. Like I don't have that ribeye in the morning. No, like yeah, give me a ribeye in the morning. I'm a happy girl, So that's what I had, and I actually had eggs a little bit later,
Nice.
for lunch. But I was done eating by about like noon today, so
Yeah.
just to push it a little earlier because I took today off. I know it's not actually the weekend, but I did take today off, and so had it to myself. And I mean, I haven't felt hungry I'm still full from all of that, and I won't eat again until tomorrow.
I want to say we're huge bacon fans around here. And that's
Yeah.
what I like about my griddles, because I can do like 3 packages of bacon, and then we consume what we can. The rest wrap in a paper towel, put it in the fridge, and then we kind of eat it like beef jerky, or purse bacon, as sometimes. So usually, a lot of times, I'll grab a couple pieces of bacon in the morning,
Yeah.
just to give me something to start the day with. And but yeah, we love bacon around here. It's kind of a good go-to snack. Takes care of a little sweet tooth if you have one.
Mm.
That's kind of a nice deal too. So
Thanks, BK. I'm not the only one. Ribeye, best breakfast ever. If I'm going to post my ribeye in the morning, I try to make a couple eggs with it because then it's steak and eggs and it's a little socially acceptable.
yeah.
Today I did not have any eggs because I didn't post it, but I just ate that ribeye and it was really good.
Ribeyes are so good.
The best. So yeah, my store had a sale, so I stocked up again. I have a sad bacon story today because I was going to make bacon for myself, and then I wanted some leftover bacon, which there's never any leftover bacon. Like I have to make extra on purpose so that it will be left over for my son's chicken nuggets that I just made for their dinner tonight, because I put some bacon like into
Nice.
the chicken nuggets because that's delicious. But yeah, my husband was like, "Oh, are you making bacon? Will you make me some?" And I'm like, yes, but it was like all the other bacon was frozen, so I didn't get as much bacon as I wanted, but I shared. And I promptly took out another package to unthaw, so that will not happen if I want bacon tomorrow.
Yeah, we tend to stock up it when it's on sale, and I've had times where there's 15 packages of bacon in the fridge, but when you do 3 at a shot, I mean, it goes pretty quick, because usually we'll do that twice a week, probably, for the most part. And but
Yeah.
it's delicious.
Yeah, John says, "What is leftover bacon?" Never heard of it. Exactly. I was trying to make extra for the chicken nuggets at dinner, so I didn't have to cook another batch for that. And then yeah, he saw me doing that and he was like, "Make me some bacon too." And I was like, "All right." So he got more. He out baconed me today. He got 6. I got 4, and the rest went in the chicken nuggets because that's all I
Nice.
had unthawed. But My thing is, I buy the bacon ends and pieces from my grocery store, and sometimes they're always $2.99 a pound,
Oh,
which is
wow.
so cheap. And most of them almost look like regular pieces of bacon. Some of them are kind of shorter. They're just like the
Yeah.
irregular cuts that are left, after they make the nice, neat pieces. But like last week, they were on sale with the ribeyes. The ribeyes were on sale, and the bacon was on sale. The bacon ends and pieces for $1.99 a pound. So
Wow.
for sure bought 11 pounds of bacon. It wasn't 15, but it was 11. I needed some room for those ribeyes, Greg. That's why.
Do you cook those? Do you already cook those in the air fryer? Those ends? I think that would be perfect in the air fryer.
I have not done that. I bake them on a baking sheet, like in the oven,
Hmm.
and they're not. I did once get a really fat, like it was definitely the end of whatever that was. It was like it was great. I'm like, oh, I wish they were all like this. They almost just look like regular slices of bacon, but some of them are smaller. There's smaller pieces in there, which half the time I'm chopping up that bacon anyway to do something with it, like I said, put in my kids' chicken nuggets or whatever.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll do that. Sometimes in like an egg, like a power bowl with eggs, I want the bacon like kind of chopped up and mixed in instead of eating it in strips. So
Oh, yeah.
I don't care if it's pretty. It's
Yeah.
delicious, and it's the best deal ever. So yeah. Anyways, bacon. So I wanted to ask you this question because it was funny because somebody posted it and I had a similar question. So Lambs is asking, were you able to convert any of your clients to a low carb approach, or maybe your mom?
Yeah, I would say no, I haven't yet. I mean, I've talked to my mom about it and stuff. She's 87. Um, she doesn't hardly eat anything now, so I don't know, if it'd really do much good at this point, but that's something I'm working with as I'm getting to know more of my patients that I see, to talk about that a little bit more to see how much it helps them, especially if they do have some depression. And I mean, some of them do have some weight issues as well. Um, especially when you're talking about people's emotional and mental state. And people are emotionally tend to eat. I mean, I was that way as an emotional eater. So I think, could be some benefit to doing like a carnivore keto type diet. So I know the doctors that's on the team asked me about that because she encouraged me that if I do want to talk about that with our patients, I can do that. So
Whoa.
it's definitely something I will look at doing in the future for sure. I just, I'm still kind of getting my feet wet, but I'm getting to know some of these people better and better. And, I think as I tell my story and they understand, and maybe they might be more apt to try it. So I'll work towards that for sure, though, especially if it can help somebody out.
Sorry, I was muted because I was saying bye to Brian. He's
That's
leaving. Bye,
okay.
Brian. I was typing in the chat because you were talking. Bye,
Oh,
Brian.
that's okay.
That surprises me. Is it because what surprises me is that the doctor is okay with it? Because I would have thought the doctor would have been like, no, tell him to eat plants or something.
Well,
Because
it's a
anything.
psychiatrist, so it's a little bit different doctor,
Oh,
but
okay.
but it's definitely, one of those things that, she's kind of followed my story or heard about it and, just encourages me to, once people understand or get on board and try it and, it's pretty contagious and you want, as we all know in this community, I mean, once you try it and you have some success, you want to keep going with it and you tend to talk about it more and then people are more interested, want to learn more. And then the next thing you know, they're doing the plan too. So.
Yeah, I know. I had someone else approach me again at work, and it's so funny because they do it at work, but it was like during an assembly. So it's like I'm always trying to give like the cliff notes. And I always feel like I left stuff out, But she was like, how do I get started? And I'm like, oh gosh, that can be such a complicated question sometimes. I mean, it's because that's not a complicated way to eat. But it's like, well, I mean, do you want to rip the Band-Aid off? Do you want to ease in? Like, so I was trying to feel her out on that. But at the same time, it's like during a school assembly and I'm trying to not be rude. But yeah, people do ask still about the way that I'm eating and how I feel on it. I had actually a student, this student didn't ask me this, but it was about 2:00 It was Monday of this week, about 2:00. School ends at 2:19. Okay. It's 2:00. And he was like, can I go to the nurse's office? It's not a nurse anymore. It's a health tech. But anyway, the kids still call it the nurse's office. Can I go to the nurse's office? Because my mom called and I'm supposed to have snacks down there. My mom was supposed to bring some snacks in case I feel lightheaded, and I feel lightheaded. And I was like, okay, school gets out in 19 minutes. Come in the hall with me. And so, because I wanted to I'm like, why is this kid lightheaded? Like, what is going on? I wanted to like dig into that a little bit. And I can't say too much to either. Like if I just straight up, told them about the way that I'm eating and all of that, I can't do that, right? I can tell them how I eat. I can tell them why I think the cereal the cafeteria is serving might not be the best choice or things like that. But I have to be careful. So anyways, I asked, well, why are you lightheaded? And he said, well, I said, did you eat lunch? And he said, no. And I said, why not? And he said, well, because I ate a bunch of sugar. And I said, and he just said it like he wasn't embarrassed to say it. He didn't think anything was wrong with it, really. Like he wasn't like, it was like, I ate a bunch of sugar. And I said, oh, what sugar did you eat? And he said, like the cookie they gave us for breakfast today. And I was like, okay. I didn't know what he meant by the cookie they gave them for breakfast because I don't watch the kids eat breakfast, but whatever they served to him, for breakfast that morning to this child looked like a cookie and tasted like a cookie and seemed like a cookie. And then proceeded to tell me how then he didn't eat lunch because of whatever. He just wasn't hungry after the cookie but now he's lightheaded. And so I said, do you know what happens when you eat sugar? And he's like, no. And I said, one of the things that happens is, you get a lot of energy really fast, but then it burns really hot and really quick, and then it runs out, and then you are done, and you're tired, and maybe you're a little lightheaded like you feel right now. And I said, next time, maybe at lunchtime, instead of not eating something, even if you don't feel hungry, try to eat the protein.
Right.
Just eat the protein so that way, this doesn't happen to you again. And he said, do you mean the salad? And I said, no, I do not. No, I don't want the salad. I'm kind of giggling now, and so are you, because it is funny, but I had to I was educate. He really didn't know, right? Just that's how much, just completely this kid didn't know. So I said, no, I don't mean the salad. I said, here's an example. If there's a hamburger for lunch, and I said, if you want to eat the whole thing, you go ahead and do that. But if you're not feeling super hungry, take the bun off and just eat the meat part, and then you'll be eating your protein. And then that way, you won't feel too full, but you'll have some protein, and I guarantee you'll make it till the end of the day without feeling lightheaded.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my goodness gracious. I have to tread carefully. I can't straight up.
Yep.
And then I checked in with him a couple days later. Did you eat your protein today? But yeah, my son is home from school and he's standing over here needing something. So 1 second, everyone, while I address him, I will mute my microphone.
Yep, that's okay. I can talk a little. All right. Hey, I was just going to say, if you guys have not been to my channel, I encourage you to go over to My Weight Loss Life. I've got a lot of different videos on there, but also I started a new series this week. Right now I have 2 different videos out, but I'm doing basically how I lost 100 pounds in 8 months. And I'm breaking it down into steps. Step 1's the first video. Step 2 and 3 is the next video. And I got a couple more videos I've got to do and complete that I'll put those steps. But I'm just kind of creating a series to help people lose weight and just kind of give back. It's not to more or less, I'm not a medical professional, but I'm just sharing what worked for me, and I'm hoping that'll help others. So actually they're doing really well. They're getting a lot of views so far, and I got a couple more to make, but it's just one of those. I know there's people out there that may be searching for weight loss for the first time, and I just want to give them the information that, hey, this is what worked for me. You can do this, just to kind of encourage people and give them a place to start,
Yeah, I actually was I saw those on your channel and it was intriguing but I haven't had a chance to watch them yet, but I thought that was a super cool idea. Just by looking at it, I sort of gleaned, that was maybe what your
Yeah,
intention was, and I'll definitely try to watch those maybe tonight after this interview or sometime soon. But yeah, that was really cool. Currently I'm just working on healing. I really feel like I messed up my metabolism pretty severely with all the restricting that I did throughout my life. And
sure.
currently, although I would like to weigh a little less, I'm like, it's like, I don't know. I don't want to go back to the restricting mentality that I had. And I'm hoping that by continuing to just eat when I'm hungry, like what my body wants, my metabolism will sort of start ramping back up and be able to handle it, you know?
Hmm.
I every time I watch a video about women and protein, it's like women aren't getting enough protein. And then I hear these numbers, and then like I heard, I think it might have been Gabrielle Lyon or somebody, anyways, talking about, no, it was that Thurlow. Her last name is Thurlow. She's a nurse, I think. She has a pretty big channel. I forget her first name. Anyways, she was like, I see plenty of men that can eat 100 grams of protein at a meal, but I've never seen a woman that can do that. And I was like, you need to come to my house then, because like I felt like a unicorn when she said that. I was like, really? Because I have no problem. I can get in a pound or a pound and a quarter of ribeye or picanha or ground beef easy.
Yeah.
um,
Speaking of that, that's one thing that I've noticed now that I work with other people and we work on a team is, I see how everybody kind of eats, and then it's like they're eating a second time before I've even eaten because they're consuming the wrong type of foods.
mm,
They're eating carbs, and then a couple hours later they're hungry again. And not, I get out in the community, but sometimes we're in the office a little more, so I kind of, you just kind of take note, and it's like I can tell the difference in the plans that are people on that they're on, because I remember eating the carbs and how it always makes you hungry. You eat the sugars, you eat the flours, you're hungry 2 hours later and you want more. And it's just, I notice it around the office more so now, just, because I'm around there in the morning. People are usually snacking, eating something. And then it's
mhm,
11 o'clock and they're doing it again. And it's like, I really haven't
mhm.
even eaten anything other than maybe a couple strips of bacon. So
Yeah.
it's very interesting to see that.
Yeah. So Johnny says, I've quit worrying about the scale. I just focus on function and feeling awesome. That's kind of what I'm at right now too. Cause I started, putting back on some weight. And at first I was concerned about it, but I'm like, I gotta stop. Cause to try to take it off, I have to go back to like looking at calories and restricting. I just don't want to do it. So
Right.
I'm in that same boat too. Like I'm feeling great. So we'll just see where my body decides to land. And I decided that I'm going to not worry about that. As a teacher, we aren't often with, we're kind of by ourselves with a bunch of kids all day. We don't see like the other adults, but you definitely see the kids, when they need to eat. Oh my gosh, they all, when it's recess time and they all take out their snack, and that's when they serve breakfast too. So some of them, they eat at home before they come, and then breakfast is served at like 9:35, and then lunch is served at 11:45, and they're like eating every time. And then when you go to, like, there was a day, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, I went to like a staff development thing at the district office, and yes, like not only were they serving food throughout the morning, which was just like a couple hours until the break, and then a couple hours after that was lunch or whatever, but they had like cookies and like all this stuff. And people were eating it, but then like other people had stuff that they brought, and it's like they just can't wait. And it's like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, like, yeah, I remember what that felt like, but to see it in action, like through this lens, right, that we have now,
Right.
it's like, oh my gosh, and sometimes even when I watch videos, I forget that they're maybe casting a wide net, and they're saying these things, but then I realize it's not aimed at me because I'm only eating twice a day. Like they're aiming
Right.
what they're saying at the people that are eating every 2 or 3 hours because of because they are hungry, because they
Yeah.
being satiated when they are eating. Um, go
You know,
ahead.
I was going to say one of the things too, when you're asking me how I'd rein that back in, I would say the number one thing I need to do is drink more water. I think it's, it was easy before because I had just go to the
Mm,
kitchen and we have the filtered water, would fill it up. Well, now it's like it's not as convenient to get something to drink. So I end up stopping, grabbing a diet soda. And that's not a good thing to do. You know what I mean? And I
right.
think that's part of it too. I'm drinking too much diet pop and not enough water.
Yeah.
Because I drank a ton of water when I was losing all that weight. And I
Okay.
know I'm not consuming near the amount of water that I was. So that's part of
Yeah.
it too.
It's not, yeah, I have to be intentional about drinking water if I'm going to get it in. Because even when I feel
Hmm.
thirsty, I should be going for water, or whatever.
Right.
Not like it's not as tasty as a cup of decaf or whatever.
Right.
And so, yeah, I try to bring a couple of like bottles of water with me to work and I put it on my desk. Like I sit it there in front of me so it's just looking at me. And then eventually it's like, okay, and I'll like drink it really fast. Because I don't, yeah, I just tend to go for other things. And I know very well I should be going for water. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I hear you on that. And I can totally see why when you're out and about, it would be more difficult to make sure that you're keeping up with that. And yes, if I was at a gas station like that, I would be very tempted by the big, what is it, 40 something ounce,
Yeah. The
like
fountain pop. Yep.
whatever. Because I used to do that, and I've mostly cut my soda consumption out. Like I was that person drinking several a day. And now, I mean, I can't say I never drink it, but it's very rare.
Wasn't
Um,
it called the Big Gulp?
Yeah,
Which
Big Gulp, I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh my
I don't know if
God.
that's 7-Eleven or one of those. I don't know. But
Yep, yep, yep. So Johnny is saying that he never feels that thirsty. I never feel thirsty. I have to be more intentional about drinking
yeah,
water.
because
Yeah,
it
and
will
when I
make a difference.
am thirsty, it's like I need to go for the water or maybe commit to like, okay, drink this glass of water and then go drink the other thing.
Right.
Drink the water first.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. So you started a channel. Can you I mean, how long have you had a channel and what are your why did you start one and what are your goals?
Yeah. If you really want to have some fun, go to my channel and look at some of my first videos. My channel originally started as a review channel. I was reviewing food products of all things, mind you, this candy bar, that candy bar, whatever have you. But as my lifestyle changed, I started reviewing food products that were more the keto type products, some of that type of stuff. But, as I got into this weight loss journey and dropping all this weight, I'm like, no, I'm going to start telling my weight loss life and talk about my life a little bit more. And I think people were more interested in that. I really need to get back to more of that. I've just kind of taken a little break from that. I kind of talk about my mom in a lot of my videos more recently, just, with her, having hospice care and stuff. And, that's part of life too, let alone, I'm trying to navigate all this weight loss, let alone life. And I think that people can relate to that. Cause a lot of people are trying to lose weight, yet they have things going on. Life gets busy. They have families, different things going on. And I feel it's important to talk about that stuff because, everybody faces storms in life and we have to be able to navigate those storms, yet still focus on our goals. And in my case, drop all the weight, drop this weight, get healthy, and try to balance life. And it's a juggling act sometimes. And I think that's, why I created the channel, is just to give, let people see that, hey, other people are doing this, I can do this too. Just kind of encourage them, because we can all make excuses on why we aren't going to start something or do something, but it's like, no, this can be done. You can, I think back, I talked about my mother-in-law too. I did take care of her for a while too, and then she ended up in assisted living. So I'm juggling all these things. I'm not working financially. We're strained because my wife is just working, let alone, I didn't lose the weight because of stress. It's just because I worked the plan and kept changed my lifestyle. That's why I lost the weight. So, and I stayed focused on that, but yet I was able to navigate everything else, let alone, my own pain and aches and, it can be done. So,
Well, and I think a key to your story, at least to me, I mean, you stopped working because you were so overweight and sick and in pain from being overweight
yeah,
that
it's almost 400 pounds and just so much
yeah.
pain,
And then you went on this journey that only took you, what'd you say, 8 months
Yeah.
to lose the 100 pounds. And then you're able to go back to work. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I basically went from disabled to healed. I'm not saying I'm perfectly healed because I'm not. I still have my own aches and pains, but now I can at least work again. And, I didn't honestly, January of last year, I didn't think I'd work again in my life. There's no way. I mean, I didn't see how I could. And, obviously I made some changes, and that was a big catalyst for me to change my life. And let alone it's just a way of eating. And I just hope people understand that it's like, no, you can lose a ton of weight and be a lot healthier, have great numbers just by changing what you eat. You don't have to go to the gym 7 days a week to lose all the weight. Granted, exercise, like I said, it is important. It has a role and a place. It's just one of those things you don't have to bust your butt in the gym so hard to get there. You can do it just by changing what you eat, add a little bit of exercise in, and you will be successful. So,
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. You have such a great testimony. And I think it will, hopefully, people will continue to come to your channel, especially with this new series that you started, and
yeah.
hopefully help some people.
Yeah, I'm hoping down the road, even 5 years that it's still out there and someone's watching it, trying to learn, hey, what can I do? Hey, let's watch this series by this guy. And then, maybe it'll inspire somebody else that, hey, this can be done. Look at this guy. Next week, I turned 52 years old. It's like, I did this over the age of 50. And, people need to realize age is just a number. It's like, there's plenty of people I know that are older than me that have had a lot of success with this way of eating, whether it be carnivore, keto, ketovore type lifestyle, or low carb. I mean, they're all, ketogenic type diets. So it's just, I'm always been big. You do what works for you and what works for your body. It may not be like the next guy or the next gal, and that's the thing. And that's why I just kind of share what worked for me. People need to tweak it to make it work for them. That's the key.
Yeah. Speaking of making it work for you, this is kind of a cool comment, BK. I got today my 1/16th part of a cow, about 60 pounds of beef. And then the beef bones to make bone broth. That's awesome.
Nice.
BK, have you ever done any purchasing like that from, like a farm or a ranch or anything? Or do you get your meat like just at the store, or how does that usually go?
The last couple times I've went to a local butcher and I bought basically top sirloin. I kind of like a top sirloin. I like the price of it, but I can get 18 steaks out of a nice loaf that's about $80. I'll get 18 steaks out of that, and they're, any 10-ounce steaks probably roughly. And that's pretty affordable. So I've did a lot of that. Now that I'm working again, it's like, yeah, I probably need to consider buying like a quarter of beef, maybe even a half. I'd probably have to buy another freezer to do a half because that's a lot of meat. But I do like going to the local butcher if you can. They have all the different cuts. Usually it's pretty reasonable. But, when I went and bought that top sirloin, those steaks will last me at my house for my wife and I probably 3 weeks. 3 weeks to a month.
Okay.
Because we do eat pork, we do eat some chicken. Obviously, I fatten those up with some butter, bacon grease. So, I do eat the variety so that way I don't get burned out on just eating steaks. Granted, I mean, I love steaks, but sometimes I do like my taste buds like a little something different. So, as most people do.
Yeah, I do. Every now and again I'll do like the chicken thighs with the skin on, and I'll brush them with bacon grease and air fry them, or I'll shallow fry them in bacon grease, heart attack style. For a Rick Charger Mopar heart attack chicken. That stuff is delicious. So yes, every now and again I will do that. Although mostly I do find that I gravitate towards beef. I have a half beef on order from my local rancher that I don't have the room for half either. I do have an extra chest freezer in my garage though, but I'm gonna split that with my mom and my brother. So
nice.
But I did change the order because we were originally gonna go grass fed, grass finished, just because what they say about it being, a tad bit healthier for you and all of that. And then I went to the ranch and I picked up what they call a steak lovers box, which was a bit of a misnomer because you think it's going to be full of steaks. They should just call it a beef lovers box. It was like all the beef. And the first thing I made out of it, and it was grass fed and finished.
Nice.
And I made a roast, and the roast was really good. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the best roast I've ever had. Like, I wish everything in this box was this roast because it was really good. But then I cooked a couple more like of the steaks. I think one was a sirloin, and it tasted like grass to me. And
Really?
other people have said that in the comments. People have been saying that because I'm like, I'm going to get this grass-fed finish, and people have been saying, you're not going to like it. It tastes grassy, like grain finished is fine. I've been hearing, comments kind of like that.
Right.
I thought, oh my gosh, they're not wrong. I'm glad that I went and got this box of, because it's from the same ranch. So I'm assuming it's going to be similar, quality and all of that. And yeah, it tastes to me like how wet grass kind of smells. Kind of tasted like that. And I was like, this cow definitely was eating grass. And so yeah, I actually changed the order to grass-fed grain finished.
Okay.
For that half beef. But it's like $2.55 a pound when you buy a half of a cow that way.
Right.
Now that doesn't include the fees for the butcher and all of that, but even so, it's quite a bit cheaper, even, and plus you're supporting a local rancher, which I'm super excited about doing. But
it was cool. My doctor gave me 2 names and phone numbers of local farmers to buy directly from. So I probably will do that because that's what he does. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But like I said at the time, I mean, it's just my wife was working. It's like we couldn't afford to do that, But now that I'm working, it's like, well, yeah, we can probably afford to do that now. So I might have to buy another freezer though, a little chest freezer probably for the garage to get a little bit more in there. But this time of year with we're coming into spring and into summer, it's like you're outside griddling, smoking meat almost every day, which is really nice. So
yeah, if you do that, you'll go through that in the summer. I feel like you go through it a lot faster too. But my chest freezer in my garage is like, my husband bought it and it was a gift. And at first I was like, really? A freezer? That's it. I mean, okay, I appreciate the gift, but I am a girl. You understand that, right? But I should have been much more thankful because especially now that I've gone to this way of eating, that is the best thing, like hands down, that we have purchased, like, for our house in a long time because I do enjoy ribeyes, but I can't afford ribeyes, but they go on sale. So like, if they're anywhere on sale between like $6.99 to $8.99 a pound, I'll just go and buy like 20 steaks, and I have space for them because we got a family of 4. Like nobody eats like me except me. Well, my son now too, but he doesn't eat steak. But there's got to be other stuff in the regular freezer in the house, and so but that chest freezer I kind of just stash all of my meat in there, and then that way I can eat the cuts I like because I can wait for them to go on sale, and then buy a bunch of them, and then boom, I'm set for a long time, and I don't have to go to the things that I might not prefer as much, but I can afford. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'll say this, I've kind of gotten spoiled on this way of eating because I got to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of hamburger anymore. I'll eat it, but I struggle. I'd rather have a steak, or even a piece of chicken or over, just ground beef. But don't get me wrong, I have my share of ground beef, but I find that it's like, man, give me the steak, give me the cut of meat. I don't even care if it's a little tougher piece. I mean, I use a Jacquard knife tenderizer. Well, it's got like 50 some little blades on it, and you tenderize it. You do put some salt on for a couple hours and let it sit out. It kind of breaks it down, so it's a lot more tender, even with that top sirloin. And I don't mind that it has a little chewiness to it, but it isn't that bad, especially if you tenderize it and use some salt on it. That really makes a difference too.
Every now and again, I'll still do burger patties. I have not done a ground beef bowl in months. Like I used to do, that was a staple for me, a ground beef bowl with like beef, butter, bacon, and egg bowl, or just like beef with like an egg and some butter, even without the bacon or whatever. And I just got so sick of them. I will occasionally do burger patties. Like I'll intentionally cook up some, like I did that a few nights ago. I cooked up like, I don't know, 2 or 3 burger patties, you know, and a bunch of butter. And that was my dinner. But that's, I'm like you. If it's like, I really prefer a steak. I'll do chuck eye. If ribeye isn't on sale, chuck eye I can get for $7.99 a pound, like all the time.
Right.
Without it being on sale. So that's acceptable, right? Like the fat level, the flavor, it's really good. Or picanha, you know, because that's like my go-to move. It's just that with the picanha, they do have picanha steaks, but I've never seen them that way. And it comes as a roast when I get it. And so that's kind of how I cook it. So I tend to do that on the weekend and then just eat off of the leftovers for as long as they last, you know, but I'll do one like every Saturday and then eat on it it depends now because my son, he does like picanha. So he said that's his favorite thing. Like I said, what's your favorite thing? I thought he was going to say like the pizza pockets that I made him. But no, he's like the picanha is my favorite thing.
You know, I don't see a lot of picanha around here for some reason. I look for it, but I can never find it. Maybe it's getting all bought. I don't know. Of course, you know, when you're in the heartland in Iowa, there's quite a bit of, you know, beef around here. So I don't know why, but I've struggled to find that. But I've been wanting to try that for some time now.
So my Walmart carries it, but I know not all the Walmarts do because my mom looked at she's like one county, you know, south of where I am, and she couldn't find it in Walmart at all, but she's found it at 2 different grocery stores, but she had to ask for it. So both of the grocery stores had butcher counters with actual butchers, because not all grocery stores have an actual butcher back there.
Yep.
But there's a couple that do still. And so she asked them, and that's where she can get it. So she goes to the butcher counter and has them cut. And I have to try. I really should just stop being lazy because I'm kind of lazy. I have my groceries delivered to my porch. It's just so much easier. And I can get the picanha from Walmart. And Walmart just brings me all the things on Saturday. And all I have to do is put them away. It literally takes me, like, I save so much time. And it's like, I don't want to spend my Saturday grocery shopping. I just don't.
Yeah, I can't blame you.
But if I got unlazy and went to the store, because what she did say was, when you do that, you can request that they don't trim it at all. So I guess by policy or whatever, at least here, they trim that fat cap to, or any fat, you know, but specifically for the picanha, they trim that fat cap to 1/4 inch. And she just says, don't trim it. Just leave it all on there. And so they'll do that for you. Where at Walmart, there is a nice thick fat cap, but you can see where they've trimmed it. Like they trimmed it down to that. And so it's like, ooh, to get all of that would be sweet.
I hit usually when I go to local butcher though, I'll buy the big chunk and cut it all up myself, which saves you. They usually knock $1 or $2 off per pound when I do that, which is kind of nice. Plus I like to cut it up. Are they perfect cuts like you buy at the butcher? No, I'm not a butcher, but you know, I'm learning and getting better at it, but you can leave that fat on, which is nice. And
that's cool. So I was going to ask that. So when you buy that big chunk of sirloin, it has a bunch of fat on it?
Yep. So I trim up, you know, there's parts that aren't so good on the sirloin, which in the fat part of it, which you want to trim off, but you can still leave it on there, you know, and that makes it a lot more fat on there. So that's one thing I like about cutting your own meat. You can, you know, leave some on there instead of trimming it all off and making it look pretty, you know, which a lot of the butchers do, because they want that nice red hunk of meat in their case. But I like buying it that way. It's cheaper. I mean, I think around Christmas time, right after Christmas, I bought a nice ribeye roast for like $50, and I got like 8 steaks out of it, maybe 9. But they were inch thick. I mean, they're nice steaks, and that was really good ribeye. Actually, Johnny, he ate some of that when he came over. We had that 0 degree barbecue.
Barbecuing in 0 degree. I don't even know what 0 degrees looks like.
It was cold.
We just don't get that here in Southern California. It doesn't happen.
I imagine not.
That's funny. Well, Greg, we've been chatting for about an hour. I just wanted to thank you again because I like to respect
Yeah.
people's time and all of that good stuff. But thank you again for coming on and talking. It was really nice to catch up with you because we haven't chatted for a while.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. It's been a good time. And yeah, like I said, I really haven't been on a live for 3-4 weeks now. And it was good to get on and just, I haven't even been watching that many videos either. I just been kind of busy. So, but it was nice to be able to come on here, and appreciate you having me on your show. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for participating in the chat and saying hello and all that good stuff. And I guess we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Bye.